Well, the monsters who did this, they want to be remembered. So let's make sure we don't give them that. There will come a day when we never again have to utter their names, but we can't ignore them just yet. Police say they'll stop at nothing to understand how and why this horror unfolded and whether the shooters were acting alone.
Heavily armed police swarm a house in southwestern Sydney. Tactical Operation Unit police taking no chances, several people taken away for questioning. At Campsie, another raid on an Airbnb. Piece by piece, police building profiles of the shooters. They've been identified as 50-year-old Sajid Akram and his 24-year-old son Naveed. By 10 p.m, New South Wales Police Commissioner Mal Lanyon declared the attack a terror incident.
We have acted promptly. We have taken decisive action. This disgraceful act will not go unpunished.
The declaration significant, specifically Section 5 and 6 of the Terrorism Police Powers Act. Section 5 provides police with special powers to prevent terrorist attacks, while Section 6 authorises the use of special powers to investigate a terrorist act.
Part of the declaration is because I have information about the deceased shooter.
That information included the fact that Sajid Akram held a shooter's licence for the past decade and owned 6 weapons. All have now been seized by police. It was a baptism of fire for the new police commissioner, who's been in the chair for just 3 months. He was calm, he was measured.
I've been very clear since I've been the commissioner that as a police force, we won't stand for this type of violence.
2 of his officers went down in the Bondi Beach shootout, one a constable, the other a probationary constable.
Can you please go?
Both were treated on the scene before being rushed to hospital. Tonight, their conditions are listed as serious.
I'm incredibly proud of the professionalism of our police and emergency service responders.
By morning, several multi-agency police strike forces were established, primarily under the umbrella of the Joint Counter-Terrorism Team.
We commenced Operation ARCS, ARQUES, which is a joint counter-terrorism operation.
The JCTT is the nation's integrated law enforcement and intelligence body that works to prevent, investigate and disrupt terrorism. It includes the Australian Federal Police, state and territory police forces and ASIO.
It's important for the community to have the reassurance that New South Wales Police, working with our Commonwealth partners, will not stop until we understand the reasons behind this senseless incident and take any available action that we need to do.
One of the shooters had previously been assessed as posing a low-level threat. While Prime Minister Albanese must be briefed about the progress of the investigation, he won't be involved in the decision-making.
We as a nation are stronger than the cowards who did this.
Police are certain a third shooter was not involved, but investigators suspect the pair received some support.
We want to get to the circumstances of everything that occurred yesterday and what led up to it.
The planning of the attack appears extensive. 2 undetonated improvised explosive devices were found at the scene.
They were found to be active devices.
They were quickly neutralised. Detectives are now examining a spider's web of connections that the Akrams had.
If there is any other person that is associated with the 2 offenders that we believe that was either involved or responsible for what took place, we will take appropriate action. We want to get to the bottom of this. We want to understand the motives behind it.
But with community fears and tensions rising, the Commissioner issued this plea.
Calm is what is required at the moment. Retribution is inappropriate. The community is in grief. The community is mourning. We need calm.
We need calm. The words there from the Police Commissioner, and Simon Boda joins me now. Simon, we heard earlier from one of the workmates of the Sun, and from what he told Steve Marshall, it sounds like they were perhaps planning this for some time.
I mean, there's no doubt they were planning this. You just got to look at the way it was carried out. Now, I've spoken to a number of police officers who are familiar with firearms. Now, the rifle that the young man was carrying was a bolt-action rifle. He was loading that so quickly that he must have had a lot of practice. And you just got to look at the way he was on the bridge, ducking, weaving. His stance was almost military-like. The way he held the rifle up to his cheek, again, military-like. He had two weapons because if you look at what he was wearing, he had a belt full of shotgun shells around his waist, which meant that his bolt-action rifle was his primary weapon and the shotgun was a secondary. That takes a lot of training, a lot of planning. Where's he got that from? That's got to be the big question.
And I think what surprised most of us is the idea that there is a weapon like that on the streets in this country. I think we always feel like, you know, we're the safe country. We don't have firearms. We didn't think we had firearms like that. And when you then hear that he'd been sort of pointed out by intelligence 6 years ago, should the alarm had been raised, or how was he then not so much on the radar?
Well, if you look at the age, he would have been 18 back then when he was. He came under notice of ASIO, we believe, but I'm told he came under notice because of the associations he kept, people he knew. Now, if you look at the family history, his father, Sajid, came out in 1998 as a student on a student visa, then got a partner visa. Navid was born here. Obviously, there was enough there in those associations that he had to raise some alarm bells back in 2019.
Okay, and then just quickly too, looking at the fact that it was the first day of Hanukkah, should the alert level have been raised? Could they have been better prepared?
Police have what they call a violence risk assessment on events such as this. This is the first day of Hanukkah. This is Bondi Beach. So if you look at that risk assessment, all those people that were at that celebration were soft targets, civilians. They weren't combatants. You look at Bondi Beach, it's iconic. So if the terrorists want to make a statement internationally, what better place to do it? So I've got to hope that that risk assessment, that violence risk assessment was done properly and effectively to ensure that that event was protected. But clearly, there were flaws because those gunmen got through. Well,
we know that the Premier, we know the Prime Minister, the Police Commissioner, they've been in meetings all day and everything that you've just raised there is going to be broken down and hopefully we'll get answers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've just got to hope so.
Thanks for that, Simon. Really appreciate it. Well, coming up next, our iconic beach turned terror target, how the community is responding and how can it heal?